my friend. And I want my friend to come share with you right now. So welcome, Milton Creel.
All right, good morning. And yeah, I'm having a little bit of knee problems this morning and foot problems, so y'all bear with me, okay? And let me just start by saying to you a couple of things. One, I'm so happy to have a chance to be here with you today, but there's a lot we've got to do. Stop here, I've talked to 8 million kids live over my career. I also talked to parents, okay? Because I've told schools, don't bring me in anymore to talk to kids if you don't also do a program for parents, because it's all about the family situation. Now, to give you some background, folks, I live in Atlanta, Georgia now, but I grew up on the south side of Chicago. And I hear our president talk very often about my old neighborhood, Inglewood, on the south side of Chicago. And some people say now it's the most dangerous community in America. Can I tell you something? I am 60 years old, but when I was a teenager growing up, Inglewood was still dangerous, okay? But can I tell you something? I've never been involved with a gang. I've never been picked up by the police. I've never been sent to the principal's office for disciplinary reasons. I have been sent there to get some kind of award or something, but never did disciplinary reasons, okay? Now, Bill Gates got a 1590. That's probably why he's got more money than me, but we'll talk about that a little later, okay? But let's go ahead and get started. You know, the neighborhood I grew up in was a tough neighborhood, but I never got involved with any of that stuff. And you know why, sir? Stop it. It wasn't because of the police, okay? The police didn't come in my neighborhood unless there was a whole bunch of them at one time, okay? But I can tell you one of the reasons I stayed on the right track was primarily because of 2 people, my mama and my daddy. But most of it was my daddy. And I gotta tell you right now, my daddy, girl, he had paid informants, okay? I know my daddy paid these people in the neighborhood, they would tell on me all the time. Now, how many of y'all ever lived in one of those kind of neighborhoods? There was usually an older woman on the block who seen the peek out the window, knew everybody's business, and would tell your mama on you. How many of y'all ever lived in that kind of neighborhood? How many of you, the woman who peeked out the window was your mama? But we remember your mama's type, okay? In my neighborhood, her name was Miss Susan Mae Johnson. And here's the thing, if Miss Susan Mae saw me doing something I had no business doing, brother, you know what? Miss Susan Mae had no qualms all about coming down and getting in my face. She would get, now in corporate America, we say she'd be in my personal space. Miss Susan Mae would get in my personal space and she'd say, Junior, boy, what you doing on this corner? You better get your butt home. Hard as your mom and daddy work trying to make something for you and your sister, get your butt home. Or I'm gonna go tell your daddy. And she said, tell my daddy. That's when I ran home, brother, okay? And you know what's amazing? If Miss Susie Mae called my mom and my daddy and told them that I was doing something I hadn't been doing, my mama never said, well, how do you know that was my son that did it? Why you calling me about my boy? Why don't you mind your business? And then my mama didn't say to me, or my dad didn't say to me, well, boy, did you do it? Because in my neighborhood when I was a kid, if Miss Susie Mae said I did it, then by golly, brother, guess what? I was guilty as charged. Now, how many of you all grew up like that? Because it's not about whether you're from Chicago, whether you're from Texas. It's not about whether you're black or you're white, okay? It's about parents taking responsibility for raising kids and understanding one thing. We cannot raise our children in a vacuum. And do you know why my mom and dad trusted Miss Susie Mae? Because my neighborhood, all the folks in the neighborhood, my parents, they all knew each other. Miss Susie Mae was not a stranger. My mom and daddy knew Miss Susie Mae. They knew Miss Johnson across the street. They knew Mr. Pearson across the street. Some of you in this room can't tell me the names of all the folks on your block. And this is not a dangerous area like Chicago, okay? So let me ask you a question. Why do you think we don't know each other anymore? Is it because we're not nice people? What do you think? You don't take the time? Those folk, your neighbors, your children, being safe? Oh, so you the big mouth in the block. So you the Miss Susan Mae. Hey, girl. See, if I move to Weatherford, I'm moving near you, okay? Because I know you'll tell me exactly what's going on with my grandson, okay? All right, no, I don't apologize for that. I like that. You know what I think one of the reasons most of us don't know each other anymore? It's not because we're bad people, sir. Please don't misunderstand. It's not because we don't want to know people. Right, when the sun go down, we'll go out on the front porch. And if my mom and daddy were sitting on the porch drinking some iced tea, what do you think some of the other parents on the block were doing? They were sitting on the porch too, and they may yell. And then on one of those days, it was really hot in the summertime, you know what my mama would do? My mama would wash clothes, and after she washed the clothes, you know what she'd do? Some of y'all too young, don't know nothing about this. What'd she do, sir? She'd go hang them on the line. And this kid was 6'7", left-handed point guard, okay? 6'7", they called him Baby Magic. He was first team All-State in North Carolina as a sophomore. If you know anything about basketball in North Carolina, you know that's pretty significant to be first team All-State as a sophomore, okay? And this boy just cried like a baby, okay? And I saw something that made me, as a former athlete, to be so proud of the other athletes. While this boy was crying and I was holding him and listening to him tell me about his mama while he was crying, I noticed a bunch of basketball players came. You know what they did? They did like they were the football team. They formed a huddle around us, okay? And then this kid also played football, and then a bunch of football players came and they formed two rings outside of basketball players, and they kind of did like this because they all knew about this boy's mama. And they didn't want anybody else to laugh at us. They formed a circle around us so people couldn't see him crying. And this boy cried like they're in jail. They haven't been involved with the police. One's a teacher, okay? One's a vice president of the company, vice president of marketing for a company. And then my young lady, she's lieutenant colonel in the United States Army. Okay? You know, I can tell you, I'm proud of my kids. Now, my biological daughters are still in the college stage, okay? Because these boys and Kathy, they were so much older than my kids. I had little bitty kids, and they were teenagers, okay? But the point I'm making, folks, is this: guess what? I treated them like they were my kids, okay? But also, they had to learn some things. You know what I find? Some of you in this room, y'all are good parents, but you're crazy, and you know who you are. See, for those of you who have more than one child, where are those of you with more than one child again? Well, let me get you prepared for something. The federal government says, how many of y'all got just 2 kids? Anybody got more than 2? Who's got more than 3? All right, I'm praying for you. How many of you got, sister? I'm praying for you for real, okay? How many of you got? How many? Give me a number. Okay, a bunch of them. All right, that's good. We'll count those 3. Congratulations. According to the United States government, 1 out of 3 children in America are going to end up living at home with mama and or daddy in a dependent state, meaning you paying their bills until they're in their mid-30s. Now, she's looking like she's trying to figure out which one. Let me give you a hint, mama. It's going to be the 2 that you don't want to stay. The 2 who don't clean up, okay? Now, but here's a really those stats are from about 10 years ago. The stat today says that about 40% of the kids end up living at home with mom and or dad in a dependent state until they're in their 40s. Okay? How many of you parents here do not want your kids living at home with you and you paying their bills until they're 40? That brother stood up. He played pro ball over in Europe for 8 years, okay? He's a good ball player, okay? But we would beat them every time, okay? You know why? Because old men cheat. We play dirty. This was during that time in history when a lot of the young boys, they played basketball. I'm from the era when NBA ball players had these real tight shorts on. They're from the era when the kids had the baggy clothes on. And so, you know, idea. In fact, the research says we spend more money on kids now than any other time in the history of the world. Americans spend more money per capita on each kid than any other time in the history of the world, okay? And some of y'all in this room are guilty, and I can prove it to you about that quick, asking one question. All right, how many of y'all remember the old Sears wish book? Remember Sears wish book? They had all those toys in it. At Christmas time, they come out Christmas, you look through all that. I don't know what y'all did down here. I'm from Chicago. You know what we did, me and my sisters? Boy, we get that wish book and we started circling stuff. And we said, well, I want that, I want that, I want that. And if you really wanted to circle it, put your initials on it so your sister knew. Age of 35. When you were a child, Sears Roebuck was the biggest retailer of toys in the world. They sold more toys than anybody else in the world. Here's what's interesting about that, Mama, put it in perspective. Back then, Sears didn't even have a toy department except between Thanksgiving and the end of December. How come? Because people didn't buy kids' toys all year long, okay? Today, Walmart is the biggest seller of toys in the world, okay? And anybody been in Walmart in the last 6 months? How many months a year does Walmart have a toy department? 12 months a year, 24 hours a day. Do you know why they do that, sir? Because they know that you will buy kids crap all year long. They know that we buy kids crap all year long that they do not need, okay? We are raising some of the most spoiled children, okay? And so why don't the kids want to leave home? Why? Because when they first get out of college, guess what? They can't afford to have the same standard of living on their own as what they have with you, okay? And that's not new. When I got out of college, brother, I didn't have the same standard of living as my mom and daddy. My mom and daddy had steaks in the freezer. I had ice cubes in the freezer. Okay, but you know what I knew? That I could work my way up to where my mom and dad were. Okay? Does that make sense? You know what I found as I talk to kids around America now? A lot of kids around America now, ma'am, they aren't wanting to work their way up to where mom and dad are. You know where they want to be where mom and dad are at? Right now, they want where you are right now to be their baseline. They want where you are right now to be their baseline. And you know what? That's not reality. But who got them to think that way? We did. How come? Because we spent too much money on them. Spent too much money on them. For example, those of you who are my age group, I'm old now. Their power is not where yours is yet. Their exposure level, their wisdom level should not be. If your child's wisdom level is the same as yours, there's something wrong. That make sense? Okay, so you got to keep that in mind, okay? Mom and daddy, you're supposed to see stuff your kid does not see. You're supposed to give your kid guidance and wisdom, share wisdom with your child. And you know what, Miguel, they're not going to like everything you say. There's some stuff your wife has said to your daughter doesn't like it, sir, okay? And then she may come to you and try to get you to go against your wife. But you're not supposed to do that either. You and your wife should talk to each other and come from one head. Does that make sense? Of one accord. And you guys have some understanding. Does that make sense to you, ma'am? Because trust me, children will play parents against each other if they think they can. They will play parents against, how many of y'all ever seen that before? All right, so it wasn't just my kids, okay? They will play parents against each other if they think they can. And so here's what I'm going to say to you folks. But with your kid, I want you to understand something. One of the key things in the world we have to learn, I teach a lot of for corporations, I teach diversity and inclusion, okay? And it talks, and unfortunately in America, you know, we thought for years diversity was about race, black and white. No. Diversity by definition is to state the fact, the essence of being different. And we're different in far more ways than just race. Does that make sense? For example, if I had 100 men in this room who all happen to be white and male, will there still be some differences in them? Difference in perspective? You know, diversity talks about strictly its perspective, that you look at things differently. Mom and daddy, your children see things different from you. That doesn't make them wrong, it just makes it different. Young people, your parents see things different from you. It doesn't make them wrong, it makes them different. But the ideal thing in a family and a work group is us to share how we see things and then come to some understanding. Does that make sense? For example, my first wife, and who gave us that job? You didn't interview for it. God ordained you for that job, okay? It's a God-given job. So when you don't do that job, when you don't try to do that job, understand who your boss is that you are being insolent to. It's not the state of Texas. It's not the U.S.
Did you hear it? Did you catch that it doesn't take a rocket scientist to turn a kid's life around? And one of the things I hope you'll ask him and he'll talk about tomorrow is how do you get your kid to talk to you about what's really going on? Because they'll talk to him. I mean, we stood after he spoke in gyms with kids lined up everywhere. And we've met those kids who are living in houses that are unbelievably complicated because of the drugs that are in them and because of the abuse that's in them and all of that. Somebody knows that. Somebody knows about that kid. And if those parents aren't going to take care of that kid, somebody has to give enough attention to figure out how we can rescue that kid. All right, you got to go to lunch, so I'm going to turn you loose on the run, all right? Take off.